Hey everyone, welcome back for another episode of Race with Me. I'm Brett Fish, and in this episode, we are going to be looking at taking someone out for a cup of coffee without taking them out for a cup of coffee. So, this one is quite an interesting one, and I think it's going to teach us some other lessons that I think are going to be super helpful. The main idea was to create a space where you can invite a friend out for coffee and just ask them to share a little bit of their story. Someone who doesn't look like you, an opportunity for you to hear about their life, about their experiences in South Africa, and what it's like to be black, colored, or Indian in their experience in South Africa at this time. And so when I originally posted this on Facebook, I said invite a friend out for coffee, thinking that obviously that's what we do. That's the most natural thing. Invite someone out for coffee and ask them to share their story. One of my black friends commented and said, actually, for black people, going out for coffee might not be the most natural thing. It might be a weird thing. It might be a bit strange. It's not something that's necessarily natural in their culture. And maybe it's a Western thing. Maybe it's something that a lot of your black friends, it might have become something that they do. But I think just the awareness that for a lot of people, going out for coffee isn't natural. And if it's not natural, then it's not going to feel safe. And so this is where nuance comes in, and where we have to be listening and learning and trying to see things from other people's perspectives. And so this idea is really about what for me would be taking someone out for coffee, but it's really about finding what does taking someone out for coffee look like for them, like what feels good. And one of the suggestions that came out was going for a walk in the park. Another one was throwing a picnic for your friend. And with this, it's really important that you throw the picnic, that you don't put pressure on them, because another thing that we often do is we have a bring and share, everyone just brings something, and again, that feels so natural. It's something we just do. But another one of my black friends commented and said, don't ask them to like bring a drink, because they might spend the whole night sitting up in bed going, oh, what drink do I do? How do I get this right? What if I bring the wrong thing? And again, that's something I wouldn't have necessarily thought about. And so we're trying to take away as much stress and just create a safe space. And so if you're inviting your friend for a picnic, just say, hey, I'm going to be throwing a picnic. Would you like to come? I would love to hear about your story of growing up as a black person in South Africa. Or perhaps it's one of your colleagues. Could we go for a walk in the park? I'd love, if you're okay with it, for you to share with me, what is it like being a colored person in 2021 in South Africa? Or maybe it's this idea of a colleague. Maybe it's a colleague and saying, hey, I'd really like to know what has it been like for you working as an Indian person in this environment. Would you be open to sharing some of your thoughts and ideas? And I hope that you realize that this is not step one in finding a black, colored, or Indian friend. You don't go to a stranger and say, hey, I'd like to take you out for a walk and I want you to tell me what it's like to be black in South Africa. This is something that builds on relationship that you already have with someone. It builds on trust that's already started, and it's about deepening a relationship. And what is required from you in that space is just to listen and just to learn and to lean in and to grow empathy. And once we deepen our relationships and our friendships with people that don't look like us, then suddenly when something comes up, it's not just an issue, but that's an issue that affects people that I love. If it's an issue that affects black people and I've got a black friend, it's like I'm going to fight for it more committedly, because actually now that's hurting someone that I love, and hopefully we will take on issues because they hurt people. But when they start hurting people we care about and we've got to know a bit deeper, and when we start to hear and understand stories that people tell from a different perspective, completely different perspective to our own, then hopefully that will help us to start understand. And a lot of these other ideas that we've looked at, a lot of those will become more natural, or maybe become more meaningful or more significant, because we start to understand what it's been like for somebody else. We start to get a glimpse of what it's like walking in someone else's shoes. And so I want to encourage you to take someone out for coffee At the moment in COVID pandemic times, that might be a Zoom call or a WhatsApp conversation, but you can still go outside, and maybe doing the walk in the park thing is one of the easiest things we can do right now. But go and take someone out for coffee. But first figure out, what does the coffee part look like? Do something that is comfortable, is going to create an environment where someone feels free to share some of their life story with you. And you will be surprised, I think, at just how powerful storytelling can be in terms of connecting people, in terms of starting to see someone else and starting to understand them a little bit better.